So I think as a great weather vane to what is going to happen and a true American hero, I want to introduce Robert Kiyosaki.
I want to thank Tim Ralston for inviting me tonight. And it was only a few days ago, and he said, "What's it about?" And I said, "Well, it's called Wake Up America." I said, "Well, I can get behind that." But then they said, "Dr. Ben Carson will be here," and I said, "I would love, like a lot of you, to hear what he has to say." So I'm here, like many of you, just to hear what Ben Carson has to say, because I'm fourth generation Japanese American, and I'm from Hawaii. And we have a guy in the White House who's from Hawaii also. So I want to apologize for him, and I have to listen to what Dr. Carson has to say. But anyway, tonight I'm going to be saying, I'll be real brief. I have some things that for years I've been speaking out, and for years I'm still considered a lunatic, a heretic. What I say is blasphemous, and I'll be saying blasphemous things tonight. But also I will be saying things that some people will say is unpatriotic. And I want to assure you I am a patriot. And sometimes, like I grew up in Hawaii, and I had 2 nominations, congressional nominations. One's the U.S. Naval Academy, Annapolis, Maryland. The other one is U.S. Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. So I took Kings Point because we're the highest paid graduates in the world. And I graduated in 1969. The Vietnam War was still on, and I was draft exempt simply because I worked for an industry called oil. And if you work for oil, you have a lot of benefits. So I worked for Standard Oil, and the trouble was the Vietnam War rolled on. It was just after the Tet Offensive in '68. So I resigned from the high-paying job with Standard Oil and went to fly for the U.S. Marine Corps. So I was in Vietnam, went down 3 times and all this. So I got a little, you can call me a heretic and call me a lunatic, but you call me unpatriotic, I become a Marine again, because I was. So what I'm going to say tonight is there's many reasons for our country, and I love our country deeply. I'm concerned about our country as well as the world. I am concerned about the generations coming up. And in my opinion, one of the many problems in America, and this is where I get called unpatriotic and a heretic, is our education system. Our education system is behind the times. It is obsolete. And that doesn't go over well in my family in Hawaii. Because for those, how many people have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Good, thank you. For those that haven't done it, this is the book here. It was published in 1997. It had to be self-published because every editor in New York said I had no idea what I was talking about. So, as you know, most of the editors in New York, I don't know where they are, but I know where I am. But anyway, they turned me down because they said, "You don't know what you're talking about." But back in 1997, I said, "Your house is not an asset." And it was holy moly. And I'm in real estate. I mean, I have thousands of units of property. And for me to say your house is not an asset was blasphemous. My friends who are realtors stopped sending me Christmas cards. I said, oh my God. But I also said savers are losers. The most stupid thing you can do is save money. So this is in 1997. And again, I was trashed, vilified. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said, wait, it's coming. So in 2007, as most of you know, there was a little thing called the subprime crisis. And millions of Americans lost their homes, and they found out their home is not an asset, it's a liability. At the same time, the Federal Reserve Bank claims to have printed $4 trillion. We don't know how much they've really printed. But why in the world would you save money when they're printing money? See, it makes no sense. And so, going earlier than that, I hated school, but I like learning. It's a big difference. And my father was the head of education for the state of Hawaii, PhD. And I used to tell him PhD stood for poor, helpless, and desperate, but he didn't like that one. You know, he's a great man, but he was also head of the teachers union. And I'm not a union man. I never want to be a union man. So my dad and I went toe-to-toe, love him dearly and all this, but I said, look, I don't believe in that kind of protectionism.